Welcome to the 100th episode of In Conversation with MANWAR podcast. This podcast is brought to you by the Do Not Be a Bystander campaign. You can join us in raising awareness about bullying by visiting the donotbeabystander.com, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay informed about upcoming episodes. 12 young individuals joined today's episode and they shared their thoughts and insights on various topics. Today's participants were Adria, Gracie, Adian, Saftiha, Sufyan, Diana, Munaf, Farefta, Shanza, Mabir, Shanze, and Ziana. This episode was also joined by two guests from previous episodes, Gary Simpson and Jacqueline Bialo, who shared their experiences about the podcast. During the grand finale of the notable 100th episode, we were privileged to have Nathan IP as our special guest. Nathan, who is serving as the member of the Legislative Assembly for Edmonton Southwest, attentively listened to the participants and generously shared his valuable insights.
Welcome to our Bullying Awareness podcast. We are thrilled to celebrate the 100th episode of In Conversation with MANWAR Khan. I'm your host, MANWAR Khan, and today we have an exceptional show lined up for you guys. It is an honor to have all of you with us today, whether you have been following us since the beginning or just joining in. Thank you for being here and part of this incredible journey. Today, I'm joined by 11 young individuals who are ready to share their thoughts and insights on various topics. Today, we are also joined by some guests from previous episodes who will be sharing their experience with this podcast. In the grand finale of this special 100th episode, we have the honor of welcoming Nathan IP as our special guest. Nathan, a prominent Canadian politician affiliated with the Alberta New Democratic Party, currently serving as an MLA for Edmonton Southwest. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Now that I have introduced our participants and guests, let's get started with our questions. I kindly request to all our participants to keep their responses within a brief 1 minute time frame. Thank you. So my first question for Adria on the topic of respecting teachers. Adria, why is it important to show respect to our teachers? Go ahead.
Respecting our teachers is very important because they do lots of sacrifices and hard work to give us knowledge, teach us, look after us, and even help us with some struggles. And they give us support on our dreams we want to accomplish in the future or today. And they also act as good role models for their students to learn how to be honest, kind, and how to respect people that are older and younger than them. And they will always have an open ear to their students about their struggles and doubts, thoughts, and feelings that they're experiencing. And they're kind of like our parents. Like, they want what's good for us. They want us happy. They want us safe. So, like, in my opinion, they deserve our respect like we give to our parents, families, and friends.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Adria. Great answer. So my next question is for Gracie. So Gracie, the topic is bullying. So Gracie, what is bullying and can you give some example?
So bullying is when you hurt someone on purpose. So like if someone was playing with a toy and you took it without asking and then you don't give it back.
Right. Okay. So for example, if I'm rude to you today, Gracie, if I'm rude to you today, just one day, is it considered as bullying? Maybe
No.
not. But it has to be every day I'm coming to school or trying to do that so that intentionally and with the purpose to hurt you. That is bullying, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. No, great answer. That's all I wanted to make sure that everyone know here what bullying is. All right. Okay. So my next question, thank you, Gracie. My next question is for Adian on the topic of bystanders. What is bystanders, and can you give us an example?
Thank you for that question. Okay, so a bystander is a person who's there when something's happening, but they're not really a part of it. Bystanders watch what's going on, but they're not joining in or doing anything. So imagine you at school and you see two students pushing and hitting each other in a fight. You're not a part of the fight, but you're watching it happen from a distance. That means you're a bystander because you're just watching, not joining in or trying to help. Another example could be if you're at the store and someone accidentally drops their groceries, causing items to scatter everywhere. If you see this happen, but you don't offer to help them pick up things, you're being a bystander. Even though you saw what happened, you're not actually involved in helping them with the situation. That's all.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Adian. So, my question to everyone, all the participants here, do we want to be a bystander?
No.
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 No,
Not
not at all.
all.
No.
Not
No.
even a chance. No.
Exactly. So, even if it's a stranger or if it's a friend, if you see somebody is being bullied, you take a stand against that. But you always have to make sure that it is safe for you first, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Perfect. Great answer. Thank you, Adian. So my next question that is for Saftia. Why we do not want to be bystanders, please.
So the reason you shouldn't be a bystander is that it could lead to like fatal causes, accidents, or situations. For example, if someone is beating up another person almost to death and you're just watching them and not doing anything, that you're being a bystander. The reason that's not good is that that person could get beaten up so bad they could end up fainting or even stop breathing. So but if you stood up for them, they would have gotten a chance to live and not get beaten up and have bruises. So in conclusion, being a bystander can lead to fatal accidents, and even if you are not included in the situation, you should still come in and stand up for a specific person.
Excellent. Great answer, Saftia. See here, you guys, we just talked about why we don't want to be bystanders. Saftia gave the answer. So we do not want to be a bystander. My next question is for Sufyan on the topic of empathy. So, Sufyan, what does empathy mean to you, and why do you think it is important in our interactions with others?
Okay. Thank you for the question. Okay. For me, empathy is to feel others. Um, to be to show empathy is to be part of being a good person, and and the person who has empathy always cares about you and always remains a good person. Empathy also helps others in certain situations, and um, if you share, like if you know how they feel, you can comfort them, comfort who's like bullied, and you can help them with your feelings too and your words. Empathy also encourages people to get more stronger and be and people and if you show empathy towards others, um you're not the only like one who has like those sad bad feelings when you get hurt or like bullied socially or like with words.
All all right. Excellent. Thank you, Sufyan. That was a great answer. So, my next question is for Diana on the topic of courage. So, my question for you is, what does courage mean to you, Diana? And
Uh,
can you give an example of
okay.
courageous person?
Courage means like you're someone, so you see someone is doing something dangerous, was like somebody being bullied, and then you're scared to be hurt, but you're trying, you're facing your fears, and then you're trying to tell the bully stop doing it, and then you have the courage inside you.
All right, excellent. So you do want to have courage, right? We need
Yes.
courage in our daily life, right? All right, excellent. Thank you so much for your answer. So my next question is for Munaf, and the topic is loyalty. Munaf, so what does loyalty mean to you, and why is it important value in our daily life, our relationship or friendship?
Loyalty is one of the greatest moral forces that exists. Some say it exists on the same plane as the truth itself. Loyalty is, on a raw level, someone's commitment or devotion to a thing, a person, or a group of people. Sometimes that loyalty is taken to unreasonable extremes. However, most of the time, that loyalty often fosters itself. What that means is like loyalty is mutual. If someone is loyal to another person, then they will most likely get that loyalty in return. Loyalty is an important value in friendships and relationships because it helps create a sense of security. It helps build honesty and transparency, which those can be used to build long-lasting relationships, and that is quite important.
Excellent. I totally agree with you. It is so important when it comes to friendship and relationship. Right. Excellent. So my next question is for Farifta. So Farifta, the topic is forgiveness. What does forgiveness mean to you, and why it is important?
Thank you for the question. For me, forgiveness is all about just letting go of anger. But the thing is that you releasing yourself from a negative energy, and that you are feeling calm in your mind. And it is important because forgiveness can free you from a lot of stuff. On the other hand, it can also relieve you from depression, trauma, anger, and many more things. But lastly, I want to add is forgiveness can also lead you to a healthy relationship, improve mental health, and less anxiety, less stress, and a lot less traumas. So just forgiveness is a lot important for your mental health, and so you don't get, like, you don't feel that depression feeling in your mind. And thank you so much.
Excellent. True. Thank you. Thank you, Farifta. So my next question is for Shanza, and the topic is accountability. So what does accountability mean to you, and why it is important in our personal and professional life?
So, accountability is taking responsibility for actions, decisions, and their consequences. It involves being answerable to oneself and others for fulfilling obligations, meeting commitments, and achieving desired outcomes. Accountability is crucial in both personal and professional life for several reasons. Firstly, it builds trust and credibility as individuals are accountable for their words and actions. It enhances personal growth and development as it requires individuals to reflect on their performance, identifying our areas for improvement, and take necessary steps to rectify mistakes. Overall, accountability promotes integrity, growth, and success in personal and professional endeavors. Thank you. That's all.
Excellent. Thank you so much. It's a great answer. So my next question is for Mahabir. So Mahabir, that's the topic is cyberbullying. It's a very important topic. What is cyberbullying, and how does it is differ from traditional bullying?
Cyberbullying has a lot of differences from face-to-face bullying, but the most important one, I think that it's more emotional than it is physical, because in cyberbullying you can't hit people, you can't push people, but you're just creating an account, to a fake account, to go log into that person and find out what they're doing, and take like blackmail them into posting pictures that they don't want to, and uh, basically showing them that. But the good thing about cyberbullying is it can be stopped, because in face-to-face bullying, it's really hard to get the bully to stop, but you can. But in cyberbullying, if you find somebody who's good with technology, you can uh, find a way to ban that account and like isolate yourself from those people, and that's all.
Excellent. So, if anybody is any of us here is a victim of cyberbullying, which means somebody send you a text about somebody else, are you gonna forward it to somebody else? No, because if it is about somebody's personal information, you do not share it. You talk to your parents or a trusted adult that what I'm going to do with this, but do not even try to look at it. Do not read it. That does not, even that is in your cell phone, but that is not, you do not, that information don't belong to you. All right. So and it's a cyberbullying is used by technology. So excellent. So all right, my next question is for Shanze. The topic is patience. What does patience mean to you, and why it is important in our daily life?
Hi. So to me, patience is when you're able to not spiral in challenging situations. It is the ability to keep calm with a positive attitude and the key to achieving everything you may want in life. It is about being okay with your hard work's result to show within a week. It is, for example, to give you the perspective on its importance, take into consideration all the aspects in our daily lives. Patience helps us think things thoroughly, which in result contributes to making good decisions in everyday life. Patience also helps us to control our emotions and reduce stress, which is a helpful factor to improve and create healthy relationships. Just think about how many times people start unnecessary fights with others when they don't know how to control their emotions. Even when you think about achieving goals, patience allows you to work towards that and stick to your plan throughout your progress. And last but not least, I believe many people forget to live in the moment since everyone is rushing through the day, trying to get things done. So to conclude, patience is the key to living every day in the present and having a happier life as a result. And that's all.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Shanze. Really appreciate that. My last question is for Ziana on the topic of leadership. So, what does leadership mean to you, and what qualities do you believe make a great leader can have?
Hi, thank you for the question. So, to me, leadership is about guiding and supporting a group of people towards their goals. A great leader is someone who is kind and treats everyone with respect. They care about how others feel and help them when they need it. Leaders also listen to what others have to say. They understand different ideas and thoughts from their team, make decisions together, and help everyone work together. They show courage by doing what's right, taking responsibility for their team, and communicating clearly. They talk to their team and explain things clearly, and they make sure everyone knows what to do and how to do it. And lastly, a couple other qualities that make a leader great are a positive attitude and helping others learn and grow. That is all. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ziana. Now that we have completed our first segment with our young minds, let's move on to the second segment of this episode, where two of our guests from previous episodes are here. So it's an honor to have you guys here with us, and thank you so much for being part of this incredible journey. And here is the question for Gary and Jacqueline. You guys were my previous guests in several episodes. The question is, do you think In Conversation with Manwar Khan podcast is having any positive impact on children or our next generation? Anybody can go first.
Sure. Well, I'll start. Manwar, just to confirm, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Well, congratulations on 100 episodes. And I think that certainly aligns with your question. Is it making a difference? Well, of course. So for myself, I do, appreciate being labeled as a leader, somebody that motivates and inspires others. And I would certainly recognize you, my friend, in the same category. More specifically, as a university educator, I use some of the tools and techniques, or I hope that I, exemplify some of the characteristics that your young minds have talked about today. And I know that you do that as well. So when we look at how are we reaching out to the youth and our future leaders of tomorrow, opportunities for discussions, whether it's with your friends or family, with people that you are inspired or motivated by. I think that, yes, your platform, your podcast is making a huge difference. And for all of, the young sort of guests that you've had on your show, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to you too, because I can hear it and see it in your presentation. You've spent some time to maybe research the question that MANWAR has asked of you, and you're learning a really good life skill, which is how to communicate. So, hats off to you for accepting the invitation to be on MANWAR's podcast, but also, my friend MANWAR, congratulations. Continued best of success as you move the movement forward of not only not to being a bystander, the importance of identifying and responding to those bullies, and that we just keep supporting one another. The world is sometimes a really scary or negative place to be. And so through initiatives like this, if we can find a friend or find some comfort, knowing that you're not alone, I think that you absolutely are making a difference in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline, for your comments. Really appreciate that.
It was kind of a tough act to follow. All of the young people shared such wonderful insights, and I found myself taking notes, and I've got them on my computer, probably a page of notes from your comments. This is an incredible milestone, 100 episodes, and this wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the hard work of you, MANWAR. All of the young people, I appreciate your efforts very, very much. Think through things and to think through problems before you experience them, I hope. And then, of course, all of the guests who've been a part of the program for the last 99 episodes. There's something that's really important that we're doing right now as we go through these things. We're thinking ahead, what do we do in case of? And this is why we have fire drills in buildings. And I remember once having a fire drill in a building I was in. We had never had a fire drill in that building before, and it was about 30 below. So it was a cold day, and we were all downstairs having coffee, and the fire alarm went off. Where our coats were upstairs where we worked. So everybody's rushing upstairs to get their coats to go out, which is a no-no. You're not supposed to do that in a fire alarm situation. So we had time then afterwards, as a fire alarm actually went off accidentally, we had time afterwards then to debrief. What did we do that was good? What did we do that didn't work? How should we do this differently? I changed my course of actions after that. I made sure that I always had a coat at my desk, right on the chair, so I never had to run to grab a coat. I could just get it and go right out the building immediately. Because I thought ahead. We all thought ahead. We came up with our plan. That's what we've been doing here. We've been thinking ahead. If I see a bystander situation, as a bystander, I should say, how do I respond to that? What is bullying? How do I safely respond when I see bullying? How do I show love and compassion and empathy, which have been some of the things that we've talked about in previous discussions. So I think these are things that really help us because we're planning in advance. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thanks, Gary. Thank you for your comments. That means a lot to me. Now that we have completed our first two segments, now I would like to welcome our special guest, Mr. Nathan IP, MLA for Edmonton Southwest, to share his thoughts and insights. Nathan.
Thank you, Manwar, and hello, everyone. It's certainly a hard act to follow such amazing kids, as well as Jacqueline and Gary, who are such well-respected community leaders, and so it's an honor to be here. Congratulations, Manwar, on the 100th episode. It's certainly an amazing feat, and you know, it's incredible that you have created this platform for us to convene such thoughtful conversations. And, you know, as an MLA, a member of the Legislative Assembly, and as a politician, I often encounter people who, you know, when I speak to them, they would say to me, oh, I'm not involved in politics, or I don't know very much about politics. Or I don't want to get involved. It seems like, you know, it's beyond their reach. And I would often ask them, do you care about your community? Oh, yes, of course I do. You're certainly aware of your community and you're part of various communities. Oh, yes, I am. Then politics is certainly relevant to you, because at the core of what I do is I'm a convener and a representative of community, and bringing forward ideas and hopefully solutions to make community better. And you know, early on in your discussion today, all of you have, you know, talked about such wonderful ideas and about why it was important to live with integrity, to live with kindness, to not be a bystander. And that's so incredibly important. In all of my experience so far as an elected official, for the last 10 years, I was a school board trustee with Edmonton Public. I've had the privilege of working with lots of community members. And the most successful, the most vibrant communities are ones in which there were a group of people that took ownership of and responsibility of their surroundings and of their community, however you might define community. So it might be a geographic community, it might be a community based on maybe shared interests or background, or perhaps a cultural community, but however you might define community, when people decide to come together and make a positive impact for others, that's when I think I've seen the most wonderful success stories come and flourish. And so, you know, as you're talking about do not be a bystander, I was so inspired and buoyed by that, because I think in order to create positive change in the world, we all have to take responsibility for making a positive impact. And you know, I'm often reminded by a quote by Mother Teresa. She would often say, "I do small things with great love." And so you don't have to, you know, go out and change the world tomorrow, but you can change the world by small actions that you do every single day that helps somebody else or helps your community in some way. And you know, and you start becoming good leaders by developing those skills and those qualities that you talked about today: empathy, patience, loyalty, a kind of compassion and kindness for others. And so those are the skills, in fact, and qualities that you'll develop as leaders. And I have no doubt that every single one of you will be phenomenal young leaders, not only of tomorrow, but of today. You know, I remember several years ago having met a group of young people that they didn't really like so these are a group of young people that really cared about Chinatown, and they didn't like what was happening in Chinatown. They felt that there was you know, a lot of neglect in that area. And so if you've ever been to the Chinatown part of our city, sometimes there's garbage and there's other sorts of things happening. And a very small group of young people just decided one day they were going to go out and pick up trash. That's all they did, was they went and picked up bags of trash. And years later, it's now become a tradition where I think the third or fourth week of every month or something like that, they would go out and pick up trash and just try to make that area of the city a better, more livable place for its residents. And that's an example of doing something actually, that we all can do, but really taking initiative and making a world a better place. And so I have so many thoughts, and I could go on and on and on, but I think my overwhelming emotion today, after being part of this conversation and sort of listening to this conversation, is gratitude to all of you and to MANWAR for inspiring, as well as giving the platform to young people to start exercising their wonderful leadership qualities and helping create a better world. So congratulations.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you. I really appreciate that you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. So we have come to the end of our podcast. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I also like to extend my sincere thanks to you, our incredible team that behind the scene who works tirelessly to bring you inspiring and insightful content week after week. So today we are our 100th episode, and thank you so much for listening our today's episode. Before we wrap up, I would like to remind our listeners that we have several resources available to help individuals dealing with bullying. The Government of Alberta has a bullying helpline that can be reached at 1-888-456-2323. Bullying is a violation of human rights. Under no circumstances bullying is acceptable. As a community, we have a shared responsibility to take a stand against bullying and refuse to be bystander. Thank you for joining in conversation with MANWAR Khan, and we will see you next week. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
Bye.